Use this to pop the seal on the back. Nearly. Shall we crack it open? Oh, the lid comes off.
I'll take that lid. Thank you very much. Models as well.
Of course we will.
It's not just going to be plastic.
But if you're like me, next up, again, more Space Marines. This is a mix of him here. Is a land speeder, and you saw that causing mayhem. 10 power armor. These are intercessors, Vanguard veterans, and what looks to be a Space Marine librarian.
Orc boys and Gretchen. Lots of some choppers in there, some shooters. Lots of head options as well. The heads are separate. So yes, there is an enormous great cannon there, and some kind of Orc walker, and we'll find out more about that.
Warhammer 40,000 Armageddon Live. I will crack it open. It's snugly put in there, and it's got some seals on it.
Before we get to that, should we do?
Yeah, you do that. Well, I job here of connecting this launch box to the events that they're depicting on Armageddon. So you scars, all forces which are sort of prevalent. And there we go. This is all of the paper on operating Armageddon. It is just absolutely packed with stories and art.
You get a big map of Armageddon in there.
There we go.
So this is like a proper old school campaign book. It's got more detail on the battle for Armageddon.
Anywhere,
yeah, more detail than we've ever had before. We've had a few kind of supplements and campaigns in the past. One of the things I really like about it is that in each of the war zones that it features, Orc clans that are taking part in the battle. And you can see here, the Angels are Radicant, the Stormlords are present.
So next up, delving in to you, that this is how you assemble your models, and it is just full colour, detailed pictures of how to put them together. People who really are at the cutting edge of playing what you need to play a game of Warhammer 40,000 along with your codex.
Attachments and things that will be coming, and all the missions. This is how you move, how you shoot, how you fight. This is the thing that creates the games of Warhammer 40,000. So
it's a nice convenient size as well.
Yeah,
stick that inside your figure case or whatever, and you are good to go. You'll be able to use that to full effect. It should be very exciting.
Yeah.
Next is this pack here. This is all of the data cards.
For units already. This will give you all of the rules for the contents of this box, so you can add them into your existing army. They're very portable, nice size, but big enough to read, so very useful.
They're just my jam because, you know, you can keep them on the side of the table while you're playing. They're massive. Which one do you want to do first?
Oh, let's do Chapter Approved first.
Chapter Approved cards, ready?
So Chapter Approved will be a familiar concept for those of you who already play lots of games of Warhammer 40,000. This is basically the mechanism for creating missions in this edition of Warhammer 40,000, much as it has been for Approved Deck, is that this is the tool you use to create any mission for any game of Warhammer 40,000, not just for match play. This is for all types of games deck that you use. Narrative has been weaved all the way through it. We've talked a little bit about that already. It's
a really hefty looking card box, and Dominatus is something that just
used to create missions. This deck is what you use to create campaigns. System for Warhammer 40,000. It works alongside Chapter Approved, generating those missions.
Orc contents from Warhammer 40, and it is awesome. So many cool things to talk about. We'll go through each unit.
So we're starting with the lowest rung of Orc Society here. This is the Gretchen unit. We've seen some of these already. There is a unit of 10 Gretchen in the box. Gretchen are a very useful unit in Warhammer 40,000.
2 units of 10 Orc boys in this set. You can see them here on the screen. They look fantastic. Essentially, it's 9 boys and then a boss knob to lead them.
Yeah, so Orcs are the absolute mainstay backbone of an Orc army. This is a brand new unit. Every model is new. The thing that we know about the new Orc unit already is that Orcs now come with a slugger and a chopper and a shooter. So immediately into the new edition, they are going to be great in shooting, great in combat, a more flexible unit. They have a boss knob in each unit. The boss knobs have slightly different weapons. There's a combi rocket on one and a custom shooter on the other. It's worth saying, one of the big requests of Orc players is the combi rocket and the combi shooter now have different stat lines. The combi rocket is a real rocket rather than being a kind of mortal wound dealing thing. And the custom shooter just gets you loads of shots.
The chat absolutely loves these. There we go. Fantastic view here. This is the Orc's Big Boss, which is sort of a new thing inside the Orc force composition, right?
Yeah, so at the moment in your Orc armies, you have your War Boss, but then underneath him, you haven't really got any other characters that fill in the sort of boss level role. So the Big Boss, he stands a little bit taller than the knob leaders in each of those boys units. Yeah. This is the banner knob. War banners, of course, have been part of Orc armies for kind of since Orc army started. Every war boss needs to have a war banner somewhere so the boys know what they're following. This is a beautiful model. If we're talking Orc boy for scale.
Yeah. There we go, boy for scale.
So again, a very big, cool, impressive model.
Essentially, a battlefield medic / doctor for your Orcs in the loosest possible
I think
terms.
medic is a generous term. So I think first off, the model is very fun, right? So this is, I think, the first time it's a plastic pain boy. You can kind of see already from the model what he kind of does. He kind of mends your orcs if they get
Sort
shot,
of.
reattaches arms and heads and things if they get blasted off. He comes with a grot orderly. This is the 11th grot in the box.
A really incredible looking miniature. It's so redolent of artwork that we've seen and embodies the orc war energy that follows the armies around.
Which allows you to pick up one of your orc units and teleport it through the power of the orc gods. He also can blast enemy units with psychic energy, and that becomes more powerful the more orcs are around him as well.
And there you see him at the front. I've done it with every other one. So orc for scale, there we go, him stood next to a boy. And here we have our war boss, a really mighty looking model, worthy of leading the war.
Yeah, he's a little bit taller than even some of the current orc war bosses we've had in the past. This guy comes with a custom shooter and a custom chopper, and as you would imagine as well, he gives a bunch of buffs to his unit. They get +1 to their hit rolls, and he gets a bunch of extra rules when the war is active.
Be loving the orcs, especially the war boss is getting some, and the pain boy as well, getting some real
orc for
praise.
scale. You get a sense.
Yeah, so here
this
you
is
go.
almost twice as high as an orc boy.
And here's him stood next to one of his knobs. He really is an absolute bruiser.
Yeah, so this is a returning unit for orcs. They've had war tracks in the past. They had war tracks back as far as 2nd edition.
But the new one is such a glow up. It really does show the way that the miniatures design team in the Warhammer studio have just evolved absolutely. The big mech Dakarig.
So this does exactly what you would think it does by looking at it.
I'm going to spin it carefully around and show you my favourite weird feature, which is the absolute orky indifference to health and safety. He's literally flanked either side of him with these enormous Prometheum tanks, which are totally exposed to enemy fire. So we have a Killer Can, a Death Dread, and they're stood next to the Dakarig. Gives you a sense of its place. I absolutely love Space Marines. I've loved them for such a very long time, and this is a wonderful...
Yeah, so this is the Intercessor Squad. They are the Intercessors you know and love. The key difference really with this box is the difference and the inclusion of some older armor marks and some older bits into the kit as well, but lots of returning features. So
These are the Space Marine Eradicators. I'll move them to the front while we talk about what you can see on the screen.
These are Eradicators with heavy bolters. They are in Space Marines in Gravis armor. Gravis armor, of course, very durable. Each one of these is 3 wounds each and toughness 6, so they take some killing.
So here they are lined up at the front. I mean, we've seen Gravis armoured Space Marines before, but they are bigger boys than the
Not much taller, but wider.
Yeah, there's a lot of chunk there. Which
we knew they were on the way. We saw them in the cinematic trailer, dropping in, chopping up some orcs and chopping through the Dakarig. This is the whole unit. They are effectively, they do for intercessors what Sternguard did for intercessors for your assault intercessors. They are the hardest hitting fast-moving assault troops in the Space Marine Force. Even more lethal when you start adding in things like a jump pack chaplain
exactly.
or something.
Upon whom more later. Here you can see we've moved them to the front. A really great dynamic looking squad. I'm a big fan of banners, so this one is near and dear to my heart. Straight away, I'm going to call out the fact that the banner has got loads of sculpted detail on it, and this is an Armageddon campaign banner. The Space Marine chapters that turn up to fight on Armageddon as part of Operation Imperator have been issued or made, I suppose, these banners that show their commitment to the cause. Blood Angels and a 5th Company marking, but you could equally imagine it showing your Black Templars Crusade or whatever the chapter that you're going for. And here you can see him at the front, a fantastic addition to your force, useful in the game, obviously, but for my money, I just like having as many banners as I can get in my force. The Librarians, obviously, are the psychic weapon and protection for the Space Marine chapters. This one in Primaris armor, one of the first things I want to call out is the way that they've used the surface detail of this model to sort of inlay intricate sort of runes and patterns and things to really lean into the sort of mystical and slightly eldritch nature of the Librarius. If you look here, the rock formation that he stood on is like blasting forwards as if it's sort of being moved by the psychic energy. And then the orc wib on the other side, it's like you can almost see the cinematic trailer without a doubt absolutely lays waste to so many orcs. Is this incredible Space Marines chaplain with jump pack.
But I think there is something very Blood Angels about a chaplain with a jump pack. That is one of the iconic units of the Blood Angels. Lots of your Blood Angel units have jump packs. That's the way they like to fight. So having jump pack chaplains leading those, giving them extra bonuses is very useful.
The Space Marine captain. What a model. This is obviously the leader for the Force. Here he is with Relic Sword and Relic Shield, and just replete with all of the detail that you'd expect to see for a leader of the Adeptus Astartes, including that Armageddon campaign badge hanging from his belt. The captain actually comes with 3 heads options. I've built it, as you see here, with the hair that I wish I had, which is, of course, the Space Marines Land Speeder. I'm really excited by this on a personal level. It fills a niche in my hobby life, which I'll explain later. But this is a reimagining of that classic Land Speeder chassis that we saw first years ago. And it comes with some options. So the frame, so here you can see this rocky outcrop that the model is based on, but the size is pretty much what you'd expect, and the Orc knob is enormous.
Yeah, the Orc boys are about the same size as the Orc boys are today. But
Captain and the Orc war boss, and they do just look great going up against each other.
Imperator. I really like Armageddon. I think it's one of my favourite locations in the Warhammer 40,000 universe.
But my head says that the Dakarig really steals the show.